Are you stressed caring for your elderly parents? This is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart because my mother lives in my home and I am responsible for her everything. And I was curious to what the guides had to say about maybe how to relieve stress, or maybe what is that life contract about. I've never thought to ask the guides about this, and I just thought, let's see what their take is. I don't feel overly stressed about it. I feel very blessed that I'm able to care for my mother, but also I do feel like I miss out on life events, and I am kind of strapped here to the home. But of course, if I wish that otherwise, then I wouldn't have her. So I don't really overly stress, but I know it can be very stressful. When I was in my car accident where I broke all my bones, my husband was my caregiver, and it's a full-time job, and I know it's very, very hard to be the caregiver. At this point, my mom is very confused. I don't know if it's the onset of dementia or Alzheimer's. I think it's from a UTI that she had a few weeks ago, and it just hasn't cleared up. And luckily, she is not afraid or angry, which happened to my grandfather when he had dementia. She's just more amazed by the confusion. But last night she didn't know who my son was in relation to her. So, that was really upsetting to me. And I feel a lot of compassion for you all going through this, especially when your family members start losing their minds. But it can be stressful. For me personally, what I do, like I said, I don't feel overly stressed. I think because I do take so much time for personal care. I take baths, I meditate every day, I do some form of art because these things are helpful to me. They're the things that bring me joy. I take a walk outside in nature every day. I put my feet on the bare grass. I spend time with my animals, my children, my husband, my friends. So I think I do a lot of really great self-care, and maybe that's why I don't feel stressed. But I am very curious to what the guides have to say about those of us who are caring for our elderly parents and loved ones, family members, maybe even friends. So that there's a really popular movie right now, something about Otto, with Tom Hanks. What is the name of that? It was a great movie, and they sort of cared for their elderly neighbor. So although he wasn't bedridden and in their home, but I don't know, maybe the guides will touch on something about that also. We'll see. So let's just get into it. Here we go. It is a grand gift to be able to care for your loved ones when they most especially need it. It is a very difficult time, as you can imagine, for your parents, for your loved ones who are losing their independence, who are releasing their hold on their control over their own life. This can be a very scary time for them. And it's also a very necessary time when you're transitioning. You must let go of control over this physical experience because you're moving on to a different experience. So you must let go. And when you let go slowly, as in when you are aging and you have a lot of time to let go because it's not a sudden death, then you have to shall we say, voluntarily let go. You have to release your grip on your control. And it can be a very scary time. It can be a very frustrating time. It can be a very sad time. So we know that most of you have incredible patience, and we also know that you should really pat yourselves on the back for having such incredible patience and compassion and empathy for your loved ones. It can be a thankless job. Some parents, some loved ones are not all that grateful in the moment. However, we will say that always, once they transition, they are incredibly grateful. It is unfortunate that most of you cannot hear them expressing their thanks while you are still physical, while you're still alive, but we can assure you that they are so very thankful for the sacrifices that you have made on their behalf. It is an incredible gift to be able to care for your loved ones, and we hope that you will choose to see it in that way every day, even when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're probably the most important emotion or the most prominent emotion at this time is going to be your sadness, because of course you realize that this is the end of your physical relationship with each other. We would also like to say that if it is possible for you to expand your awareness so that you realize that a soul is a soul. A soul, it cannot be, a soul is indestructible. It is forever. It doesn't die. A soul lives on forever. Your parents' soul, your loved ones, your friends, the elderly that you're caring for, their souls will live on forever, as yours will. And yes, you will not touch them in the same way and hear their voice in the same way. However, there can be communication that continues long after a physical death, because the soul is still around. This soul is still in existence. Now, we will just simplify this and talk about your parents, even though you can apply this to anyone that you're caring for. Your parents, your elderly parents who will pass on, they will have a life again in another dimension, in another plane, in another, you can call it heaven if you want to call it heaven. And let's not get into if there's heaven and hell. We're not going to. That is another video entirely, but we can assure you that your parents will go on to a place where they feel better physically. They don't have their same pains. They don't have their same limitations. And they will have jobs and relationships and friendships, and they will have a life outside of this physical life. They will have a different type of life. And this is a whole video in itself. And just know that also, they will hear you when you speak to them. Always, when you speak to them, that will call their soul to you, and they will hear you and they will respond. Now, it is up to you and your belief system if you hear their response, if you feel their response, if you accept their response. Now, we would also like to say that anytime you think that you are getting a message from a loved one, you are. You would not have had that thought if it wasn't a message from a loved one who has passed. If you see a butterfly, if you see a coin, if you see a hummingbird, if you see the cardinal, if you see a feather, whatever you see and you ask yourself, is that a message from my loved one? Yes, it is. You wouldn't have had the thought if it wasn't. So say thank you when you receive that communication and ask for more. It is often easiest for your loved ones to come to you in dreams. So before you go to bed, ask your loved one to visit you in your dream, because you both are in your energetic bodies during your dream state. And so it is easier for you to communicate in your dream state, and ask yourself, your subconscious, to remember that interaction so that you can feel it. And also, do not jump right out of bed to start your day. Lay in your bed for a moment and try to remember the experience you had while you were asleep. Now, back to before your parent has passed or your loved one has passed, and you are caring for them, and you are finding it either thankless or you are finding it quite stressful. We would like you to, again, look at it as the gift that it truly is. It is a gift to be able to help your family member transition into a different life. It is a gift to be able to help them when they have to let go of control over their life. Now, it is beautiful. It is special. It is a unique bond. And we want you to see this as those positive things, even though it is hard. It is just like having a young child. When you have a young child, it's a lot of work. And the saying is, the days are long, but the years are short. And this is very true. The same with your time with your elderly parents. The days may be long, but the years are short. So appreciate that time just as you would appreciate when your babies are little, when your young ones are young. You know it is temporary. And so enjoy the days as the gift they are, even if the days are hard. Remind yourself that you are giving them a peace of mind that they, again, may not recognize until after they are gone. But here's the thing. It is a lot less scary for them when they feel like they can trust you. They feel like they are not cumbersome to you. It is not bothersome what you are doing. It's a lot less stressful and scary for them when they feel safe. Now, yes, some of them are in a mental state that they cannot feel safety no matter what you do or say, and they may not even recognize you in this moment. But just continue on as you would care for your loved one, because they will recognize it once they have passed. You are giving them something that they will recognize. They do recognize on a subconscious level, just not on a conscious level in some circumstances. We want to commend you for being heroes. We want to commend you for being selfless. Now, normally we talk about, we want you to be selfish and that you love yourself. Because none of you love yourselves enough. But here's the thing. When you are giving up your time and your energy for another human, that is another reason to love yourself, because it is admirable. It is admirable. And no one really is making you do it. Even if you feel like you don't have a choice, that no one else would do it. The truth is, some elderly people don't have anyone that would do it. And, they are taken care of by their governments or they aren't cared for at all. So, yes, thank yourself and be proud of yourself and love yourself for being generous with your time, with your energy. Take care of yourself in all of the moments that you can. Eat a special meal and appreciate it. Take time to sit down and have a conversation with your friend when you can. Take time with other loved ones. Take moments of solace when you can. Connect with nature when you can. Meditate daily if you can. Pray daily when you can. And ask your team for help. If you feel overwhelmed, ask your angels for help. Ask your guides for help. Ask those loved ones who have passed already to please help when you feel overwhelmed. They do not help unless you give them permission. So ask them for help on days that you feel overwhelmed. You are a hero. And no one is forcing you to care for the elderly, but the elderly need cared for. And so the fact that you are choosing to do that, you're volunteering your time and your energy, makes you a hero. And we want you to pat yourselves on the back and give yourself the love and appreciation that you deserve. We know that it is hard, but again, it is very temporary. It is very temporary. And allow your parents to go. We know that it is hard. We know that it is hard, but it is not scary because they're just, how can we explain it? Death is so hard on your plane. It feels so permanent, and it feels so sad and so tragic. But your parents are simply moving. We like to use the analogy that you are looking at your parents straight ahead, and your parents are moving over there, and you just haven't turned your head over there, but they are right there. Your head is not turned in the direction that they will be. They will not be far. They will not be destroyed or absorbed, or their soul will be intact elsewhere, which is also here. And yes, we understand that it's difficult for you to envision given your current perspective and physical reality. But we assure you that your parents are going to feel better. They are going to feel the unconditional love of Source. They are going to be reunited with friends and family, and they're going to be welcomed home. And yes, it will make you sad because you will not see them for a time. But again, that time is just a blink. It's just a blink in the grand scheme of time. And the fact is, if we could even complicate this even further, there really is no such thing as time. You're just focused on this particular time point. And when you go to sleep or when you meditate, you actually could tap into another time when they are here and they are young and they are healthy, and you can interact with them. You can communicate with them in ways that you haven't practiced and you're not aware of, that can become easier with time and with practice. We hope this has been helpful. We hope that you love yourself for what you are doing, for not just your parents, not just your loved ones, not just your elderly friends, but for your collective as a whole. And appreciating this transition is very difficult for them. And you have the patience and you have the gift to be able to help them through this transition. We love you very much.